Start to play, dance with me, make me sway like a lady.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome back with your host Wanadia Wan Salmizan on today's topic about the environment. So we have two special guests about the environment today, which is the first speaker, Sharifah Balkis Hanis binti Syed Badrul Hisham, an expert from the WWF Conservation about the environment. And for our second speaker, which is Siti Nur Nabaha binti Sabri, which is a student from SMK Sungai Besar. So, welcome back to the No Trash, No Splash! And today we're going to be talking about Podium for the Environment. Now, before we start, let's talk about the aim and the objective. So, the aim for the talk show today is to persuade students into taking action steps in preventing water pollution. And the objective for today's show is by the end of the talk, students will be able to first understand how daily actions can make a big difference in keeping water resource clean. And for the second objective for today's talk is to commit to applying at least one of these steps in their daily school or home resource. Now, before we go into deeper, let's talk about what is water pollution. Okay, so it happens when harmful substances like waste, chemicals, or microorganisms contaminate our rivers, lakes, and even our oceans. When that happens, our water becomes unsafe for the humans, animals, and including the plants. And in simpler words, it is when water turns into dirty and nature starts to suffer. Okay, now let's dive deeper into the statistics, which will be delivered by our first speaker, Sharifah Balkis Hanis.
Alright, so let's look at what's happening to our rivers in Malaysia. Based on the Department of Environment Report 2023, like in the slide, out of 25 rivers studied, 17 were in class 3, which means not too clean, not too dirty, kind of like your room during exam week. But here's the scary part. 8 rivers were in class 4, which means the water is so polluted that even the fish are probably asking for mass. Only a few rivers made it into class 1 or 2, and those are like the straight A students in class, very rare and definitely well behaved. When we look deeper at the data, the BOD and ammoniacal nitrogen levels were very high, showing that most of the pollution comes from human activities, like factories dumping waste, people throwing rubbish, and farms using too many chemicals. In short, it's not the river's fault. It's us, humans, who keep giving them a dirty makeover. So if rivers could talk, they'd probably say, "Stop treating me like a trash. I am a river, not a recycling bin." That's all from me.
Okay, thank you so much from our first speaker. I couldn't agree more with her points. So now let's dive deeper into the examples that will be delivered by our second speaker, Siti Nur Nabaha.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's move on to one of the example based on my research, which is the Johor River case in 2024. So, this story really shows how humans can turn a beautiful river into something that looks like teh tarik gone wrong. Huh. So, according to Channel News Asia 2024, the water become brown, smelly, and full of waste. Villagers couldn't even use the water to cook or wash. Fishermen say their fish were dying faster than they could catch them. Imagine going fishing and coming back with only a sad story instead of a dinner. Okay, the investigation found that factories nearby had been releasing untreated waste straight into the river. Some farms also contributed chemical runoff after heavy rain. So, basically, all this mess came from our own human hands. So, this situation proves that humans are the main cause of water pollution. We keep taking from nature, but we forget to give back. Rivers are not rubbish bins, yet we treat them like free delivery service for our waste. If we continue like this, one day we might see river flavored instant noodles in shop because that is how polluted water is becoming. That's all from me.
Thank you so much for our second speaker. Let's move on to our first segment, but we'll be back.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
Welcome back
Like
to our talk show for today, No Trash, No Splash, with your host, Wanadia Wan Samizan. Now, before we get into the first segment for today, let's start with something simple, the products that we use every day. Some detergents we make at home sparkle, but could also harm the environment. Our first step today is to choose eco-friendly products because being clean shouldn't come to the planet's expense. So, with that, let's invite our first speaker to talk more on this. So, please welcome our first speaker, Sharifah Balkis Hanis.
Alright, everyone. So let's start with something that we all use, which is soap and detergent. Every day we wash our hands, our clothes, even our school shoes after co-curriculum day. Am I right?
Yes.
But have you ever wondered where all that foam goes? It doesn't just disappear like magic. It goes down the drain, into the rivers, and finally to the sea. So basically, the fish are taking a bubble bath they never asked for. Brands like Dynamo, Top, or Fab are very popular because they make our clothes smell fresh and look bright. But the truth is, this detergent contains strong chemicals like SLS, phosphate, and bleaching agents. Sure, they can remove tough stains, but they also stain our environment in the process. Here's what happened. Phosphates makes algae grow too fast until the water turns green and blocks sunlight for fish. Meanwhile, SLS make lots of foam that doesn't go away easily. So the poor fish are stuck swimming in a never-ending foam party. So what can we do instead? We can switch to eco-friendly detergent. These are made from natural ingredients like coconut oil, lemon, or eucalyptus. They clean just as well, but they break down naturally. No harm to fish, no pollution, no problem. And speaking of eucalyptus, let's talk about that fancy smell. Eucalyptus is a plant that smells a bit like me, super fresh, like a mini spa in your laundry room. It's also naturally antibacterial, so it kills germs, remove bad smell without harsh chemicals. That's why many eco-friendly brands use it in their detergents. So here's a cool real-life example. At SJKC Fun U2 in Johor Bahru, the teachers and students started a liquid detergent refill kiosk right in their school. They use a biodegradable eucalyptus scented detergent and invite parents to refill their bottles instead of buying new ones. So not only they save money and reduce plastic waste, but their whole school smells super fresh too. See, change doesn't always have to be big or serious. Even small steps like using eco-friendly detergent can protect our rivers, save marine life, and make the earth a little happier. So next time uh when you uh wash your clothes, try to think, am I washing clothes or am I destroying the planet? That's all from me.
Thank you so much for our first speaker. It was truly inspiring to hear all her points. So now that we've talked about how to clean up your habits, let's now talk about something we all depend on. What do we depend on, guys? Exactly. We all depend on water. So we use water every day, but sometimes we use it too freely. So our next step for today's segment is to protect our water resources because every droplet counts. So for our next segment, we'll be inviting our second speaker, Siti Nur Nabaha binti Sabri, to talk about more on this. Please welcome.
Thank you. Okay, now let's move on to the main point two, which is save and protect water sources. Saving water might sound simple, but it is actually one of the most important steps in protecting our environment. Water is precious, yet many of us waste it every day without even realizing it. Sometimes we leave the tap running while brushing our teeth, overuse water for small tasks, or ignore leaks that could waste liters over time. But the good news is change can start small. We can do simple things like turning off the tap when not in use, reusing water whenever possible, and supporting activities like tree planting. Trees actually help filter rainwater and keep our rivers clean. Something most people don't think about. Okay, now I want to share something really interesting about a school project in SK Cabang Melaka. It is called the Rainwater Harvesting Project. This project was set up through a collaboration with University Putra Malaysia, or we can say the UPM, and the Eco School Program. Together, they create a system that collects rainwater from the school's rooftop. Instead of letting the rainwater go to waste, the school stores and uses it for cleaning, gardening, and flushing toilet. Pretty cool, right?
Yes.
This simple system actually helps the school save a lot of water and money in the long run. But more importantly, it teaches students about the importance of water conservation. They get to see how small actions can make a big difference in protecting our environment. Through this project, students also learn to appreciate water as a precious resource, something we should never take for granted. It is a great example of how schools can become role models in sustainability, inspiring young people like me to take care of the planet.
Wow, truly inspiring. Thank you so much, Siti Nurul for the great explanation. So now that we have saved water, which is a really good job, but let's be honest, our planet has still one big problem, which everybody knows. And what is the problem? Exactly, it is trash. So our final step today is to practice proper waste disposal, because what we throw today doesn't disappear. It finds its way back to us in the end. And so with that, me, Wanadia Wan Salmisan, will be talking about our final point for today, which is practice proper waste disposal. Because it sounds simple, right? But let's be honest, how many of us today have accidentally thrown that bubble tea cup into the wrong bin? Right. Surprisingly a lot. But or even worse, left it on the table while thinking, someone could clean it later. Well, yeah, the guilty has already charged. So I'm gonna be talking about why it matters, because every time we throw rubbish into the drains or leave the trash lying around, it doesn't just vanish like magic, guys. Because um, this is not Hogwarts where magic all truly happens. That piece of plastic travels through the drainage system, which ends up well in the sea. So basically, straw you threw last week might be swimming right beside Nemo right now. Terrifying, right? Okay. Let's not just look ugly into it. It also harms animal, blocks waterways, and even causes floods. And then we all start blaming the weather when it rains. But really, it's our own rubbish that we were throwing into the sea. So a real life example that I will be showing you today is the Smart Ranger program. The Smart Ranger program in Klang Valley, this just isn't a boring pick up your rubbish campaign. So what this program is actually about, it's involved both secondary and primary school, which was run by the Global Environment Center, GEC, which is a fancy name but with big results and actions. This program has encouraged students to take part hands-on waste management, which are recycling, composting, and basically you name it. And get this, they managed to stop over 45,000 kilograms of waste, which ends up in the landfill. That's a big number, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so 45 small cars worth of trash. That's a lot of trash. And so 17 schools took part, which also proved that if students can do it, so can we. Right? Okay. And so no excuses as adults. In the end, what can we do? So, what can we make a difference? It's actually super easy with just 3 steps. The first one is separate recyclables into different trash cans. The second one is using the right bins. And third is to keep our drains clean. It's that simple. It doesn't take much effort if you can truly separate your Spotify playlist into study playlist, gym playlist, or even set hour playlist. You can definitely separate your trash into different bins also. It's that simple. So when you do this in the end, we're not just keeping our schools and communities clean. We are literally saving the rivers and seas from turning into floating garbage buffets. or as Nabaha mentioned, floating teh tarik in the river. And so, in conclusion, here is the final message for everyone here listening to our talk show today is to protect our water and to protect our future. Is to recap, the first one is to use eco-friendly products to reduce the pollution of our rivers and our seas. Second is to practice proper waste disposal into keeping our surrounding and drainage clean. And lastly is to save and protect our water by avoiding wastage and joining green activities. So remember guys, it may sound simple, but every time you see trash all along the way in our sea or rivers, make sure to use our tagline, no trash, no splash. Okay, let's do it all together. Okay? 1, 2, 3. No trash, no splash. Thank you guys so much for watching this talk show for today. I hope you've learned something from this talk show, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.